Hi, we're back. Last week we actually did not do a recording. I was spending time with the family away, and that I also call ministry. Anytime you devote a certain amount of time into your family, you are doing the ministry, because things begin in the home and go out into the neighborhoods, which then go out into the cities, which then spread to the state, which spread to the country. That is the idea of planting a seed in your own home. But before we start today, let's go before the Lord in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, we thank you for your goodness, your mercy, for our life, health, and strength, for those that love us, those around us that care, those that are listening today. We ask that you give a special word that encourages them, that causes them to see things differently, like they've never seen them before, to go forward and be encouraged. In Yeshua's name. Well, I had a thought earlier today of tearing down to rebuild. Tearing down foundations just to go forward so that you can rebuild. With the work ethic as the focus. Because whenever you're tearing down something, you are working. And as it is written, when man sinned, the judgment of work was pronounced on Adam, that he would toil, that he would have to work the soil. No longer would the soil just yield up its increase, but you are going to have to work the soil to have the soil produce the increase. And that's an interesting thought in itself when you think about it. At one time, God just had it where things just popped up, popped up. This way of things is how religion gives the impression to those that are under those who teach religion. That you sit around and sing hymns, drop your money here, and just wait for it to pop up. You see? Which is prevalent in most places that teach religion. And we're not trying to focus on the religious teachers, but what we're trying to do is impart the idea that work is the key to causing one to advance in this life naturally and spiritually. So no longer will we sit around thinking that something's going to fall out of the sky, but we actually have to labor. And in laboring, you're ministering. Those that see you labor take note of you. People watch you when you think they're not watching you. And they're learning from you when you think that you have no one to impart a lesson to. They're watching you. And when you do what you do consistently, you can't help but to impart a lesson. I put a mirror, a regular mirror that you can look and see yourself, a mirror, in the garden. I thought it would ward off some of the little creatures that come along and try to eat up the some of the vegetables I had planted. And this one bird, a cardinal, every day consistently goes in front of that mirror trying to find that other cardinal every day. I see him out there every day. Sometimes he attacks the mirror. Then he jumps on top of the mirror and looks on the other side of the mirror. Then he jumps back in front of the mirror. And it works him every day. He seems to think that there's a competition or another alpha cardinal in the area trying to take over his area. That bird has not learned the lesson yet. And every day he's there. His reasoning ability is not like a human being's. Even though he searches every day to see where that bird is, he has not come to the conclusion that he's looking at himself. And when we as human beings can come to the conclusion to take a strong look at ourselves, maybe we can see what we're really lacking. Maybe we can start seeing what we need to get rid of in our own life. Maybe we can see what we need to tear down so that we can rebuild. Because as long as you cannot see yourself, you will not begin to tear down the waste places. I was looking around in the house today, and there are things that maybe you don't use or haven't used in years. They just sit there. Sit. And they sit. And if you stop and ask yourself long enough, take a survey in your own home and say, when was the last time I used this? Or when was the last time I used that? When was the last time I used that? I guarantee you, if you start doing that around your own home, you'll be surprised. It's not months, it's years. And when you see it like that, start getting rid of some of those things. As you get rid of some of those things, God will give you increase so that you can have room for the new. See? You're tearing down the old to make room for the new. As long as you have clutter around you, and that's what it is, it's clutter. It builds up. You think it's treasure. You look around and say, I got all this, just like Sanford and Son. Sanford Arms, I got all this. This is treasure. You know. When it's actually something that has no value to you. Because why it has no value? Because you haven't used it. Anything that you don't use has no value. It's just there. May have some value to someone else, and that's why you should relinquish it. When you can give away things that you know have some value, but not to you because you haven't used them, give them away. Clean house. Clean your garages out. Clean your houses out. Get rid of stuff. You can look around and get a new perspective on life. And at the same time, you're working. You're exercising that body, which most of us need a lot of that. I haven't seen a true soldier, a true warrior, fat. I don't recall seeing any real warriors fat. And we are supposed to be warriors for the Lord. We are supposed to be the best reflection of God's spiritual warriors. So spiritually and naturally, we should look like the best. Why is it that in a lot of religious circles, we are fat and out of shape? All we do is sit and eat and talk about the Lord is good, while you're sticking all kind of things in your mouth that are harming your body without exercise. You're not profitable to yourself, spiritually and naturally. So again, it's always the work ethic. It's the work ethic. You shall earn your bread by the sweat of your brow. And as you get in the mindset, understanding that just keep busy working, not talking, working, you will see increase. Why? Because the thing that you go after with all your might, with all your heart, with all your strength, you shall have it. Because you are vibrating the thing which you want to come to you. You are sending out a vibration that allows that to come to you, but you have to work towards it. You are putting out a signal, an energy that will cause you to have the very thing that you desire. So this is why we see the importance of work, both naturally and spiritually. Keeps you focused spiritually, keeps you in shape naturally. When I think about some of the scriptures that talked about how them coming out of the Babylonian captivity and rebuilding the temple, go back and read that, and you'll see some of the things that came against them as they were trying to rebuild. There were some people who actually were pulling against them, or actually doing the negative things in the building process, and how that had to be dealt with. And the man told him, hey, why should I stop this work, to come down there and address that situation? You see? You'll always have people pulling against you to do the very thing that the Lord has told you to go forth in. Always. And they don't always wear the face of the enemy. They wear the face of a friend. They wear the face of a person who has a similar background. But at the same time, they're pulling against you.
What it does is it makes the point of watching as well as praying real important. Because if you realize that a lot of times you have to go into the enemy camp and you have to deal with the negative situations, it make you, because that thing you want so desperately to come to pass in your life, it makes you pray. So I think everything that happens in your life is by design.
Okay. So those that are brought around you are brought around you to strengthen you.
I believe so.
So I guess if you're going to develop muscles, there must be resistance.
Absolutely.
Because when you lift weights, the weights provide resistance. When you push against them, you push against the weight, it's resistance for the muscle to be built.
But in the praying, I believe your only resistance really should be in praying. You should learn how to pray. And in the praying, you're learning how to flow in whatever situation you are in. You're learning how to move in and out of people.
Mm-hmm. And how easy is it to go into prayer? Is there resistance to pray? Do you feel the resistance?
Oh, absolutely.
When it's time to pray?
Absolutely.
So therefore, pressing into prayer has its resistance. And then until you get to the place of, I don't say habit, but until you get to the place of flowing, because habit has a different kind of ring to it. It's like habit is like you're doing it out of a mundane routine. Like, okay, it's 6 o'clock, time to pray. Okay, it's 3 o'clock, time to pray. you have removed the essence of what you're really doing when you get into a habit.
Right.
But when you're flowing, it is a strong desire.
And it's like your inner man will tell you it's time to
Exactly.
flow into prayer.
Exactly. It's a strong desire that causes you to want to be there, not a habit. You see? And that is where the attitude is different in work. When we can work and we like to be there, we like to work because it serves so many purposes. Maybe there's somebody on the job that you're able to minister to, and you enjoy ministering to them as well as they enjoy listening. Then that causes you to flow, because you're saying, this is another day that I'm in expectation to hear the Lord say something to me, that I can be a blessing to someone else. Or they'll say something to me that I can receive. And this is the beauty of perpetual motion, you could say. You know, it just comes back. It goes back and forth without stopping. You send it out, it comes back. You send it out, it comes back. Never ending.
That's because you have tapped into God.
Mm-hmm.
And as we're learning, God relationship is not one way.
That's right. That's right. He never ceases. Never ceases to flow. If he happens to, or appears in your life to come a little slower than you'd like, his delay is not his denial. So if he shows up and it seems like, well, Lord, I haven't seen you show up like this in 20 years. Well, you got to kind of really take a look in that mirror I was talking about.
Absolutely.
And see what you've been doing.
Absolutely.
Find out where the waste, look at the waste in your life. Remove the clutter, so that you will see him appear more often.
Or actually, you can look at it like this: the flow with God, that relationship, starts and stops with you.
That's right.
He's there, ready, and he's able to go. It's up to you.
And that is correct. That's why I say that looking in the mirror and seeing yourself, not thinking it's someone else, because we're always quick to say, it's her, it's him. That's what the bird did in front of the mirror. It's that other bird. That other bird is in my territory. That other bird, every time he's here all the time. Every time I show up there, he's there. Without fail, that guy is in my territory.
But I can't seem to get rid of him.
And it's funny, I watched the motion of that bird in front of that mirror. The flutter of his own wings against that mirror. He's feeling himself. And it just seems like a real bird on the other side, because he's feeling probably his own breath, his own sounds bouncing back off of him.
And that's why you have heard over the years, so many pastors say the enemy is in you.
That's right. Can you see the enemy in you that causes you to be in the same place that you've been in for years? Are you ready to actually go into a new order where you see yourself and you're willing to work? you're willing to roll up those sleeves, tear down, find out where the foundation went astray. You see, that's why history is so important. True history, real history. Not what the conquering people that may be over you would give you as a history, but real history would allow you to see where the foundation that was laid has gone astray and caused the building to not be square. You see? Or level. This is why real history is important. It allows you to see what went wrong so that you can tear down and rebuild. But that's work. And this is what normally religion doesn't teach, is to take a good look at the past so that you can correct or make corrections in the present that allows you to be blessed in the future. You see? Go back, tear down, take a look, so that presently I can start planting seeds that will bring increase year after year after year after year. But you will never be able to do that until you take a good look at yourself. You'll never be able to do that until you realize I have pride in the way. I have jealousy in the way. I have greed in the way. I'm selfish. I'm lazy. You see? Those things may exist in you, but until you take a good look, you'll repeat what you've been doing year after year. And there's no healing in that. There is self-deliverance, but you don't need someone uttering a bunch of words over you. Okay? For self-deliverance. All you need is the understanding, the realization that you have something there that needs to leave you. And when you get to that place and you accept the fact that that familiar spirit exists and that you do not want to operate any longer in that way, you can receive deliverance. And it doesn't take someone over you being an umpire or referee to get you to that place. Now, if it takes that, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but you still have to realize that that spirit exists in you. And you may say that, well, I need somebody near me to help usher me through, to help me stay focused. That's what it really boils down to, is that person, if that person is genuine in deliverance, you allow that person to help you stay focused through the process. But when you're really hungry to get rid of something, you don't need anybody to be your cheerleader to see you through when you really want it. when you want it bad enough, you'll get tunnel vision. And the only thing you'll see is the prize that lies before you. And that tunnel vision allows you to only see that thing which you are reaching for. And if you don't stray off the path, you shall have it. This is why, again, that the Lord said that David was the apple of his eye. Well, out of all the apples on the tree, he focused on this one apple. Who knows what position on the tree that apple was in? But wherever it was, that was the one he wanted. That was his focus. But he saw that one apple, and that was the apple of his eye. Do that sometime as you're in the woods approaching an apple tree. Approach that tree, or any kind of fruit tree or whatever. Approach that tree and record in your mental notes what you're doing. You'll see one that gets your attention, and you'll reach for it. There'll be others that are closer to you, but you may bypass them just to reach the one that caught your attention. This is what's meant by the apple of your eye. It's the one that you desire the most, the one above the many. You see? When we begin to look in the mirror and see ourselves and desire to improve in our homes, in our communities, we'll be better off for everyone. But let the change begin with you. And let this day be the day that you start and say, I see myself. I'm ready for change. And I'm going to go forward. So, as Paul said, I die daily. Means I put off daily. I put off daily. Because he saw the things that he needed to get rid of in himself. So dying daily is what we have to do. Tear down to rebuild. Until next time, you be blessed.